Hey everyone! We all know that feel where you're pressuring your lane but can't quite solo kill them to push your lead while the rest of your team is losing. This can be a tricky situation to deal with, especially if your champion gets outscaled by the enemy mid laner and you feel like you need to make something happen. Well, we're bringing you a gameplay of Faker playing Leblanc vs Ryze where all of that happens. His team is losing and Ryze outscales Leblanc, but he has mid pressure. Let's learn from the best and see how he does it. We're going to start things off here. Faker just got back from a recall, and since he's winning in mid pressure, he got to recall before Ryze, meaning he also gets back to lane first. Doing this allows him to push this wave quickly and get mid priority. If you don't know, mid priority simply means you're able to move from mid before the enemy mid laner. As we just saw, Ryze gets back to lane, but he needs to clear that wave before he can move. After he gets mid priority, he needs to decide where he's going to roam. This is where most players struggle, so listen up. First, let's look at the minimap. His jungler, Elise, is ganking top, and all 4 bot laners are almost full health. One of the most important things you need to understand about roaming is that you should almost always look to go to the same place your jungler is going. And that's simply because, let's say Kha'Zix is ready to counter gank top right now, if Faker goes, it makes a numbers up situation for them, which should mean free kills, right? So even if the bot lane wasn't full health and might be killable, this is the play that is more likely to succeed. Alright, let's see what happens. Faker starts moving top, but Nocturne dies because Kha'Zix did end up being there. But when Faker gets there, Urgot is pretty low, and they both use their big cooldowns to kill Nocturne. Faker jumps in, Elise lands the cocoon, and they kill Kha'Zix. This brings us to another really important concept when it comes to roaming. Whenever you roam, you're going to miss at least one wave in mid, because that's just the price of roaming. But to counter that, you want to take a wave from top, or wherever lane you go to. For this game, the top lane wave was slowly pushing to Urgot, meaning if nobody takes this CS, it'll just die and be a waste, while also giving Urgot a freeze. So Faker makes up for the wave he missed in mid, and prevents Urgot from doing that by pushing this in. Urgot gets greedy trying to not let Faker push it in though, so Elise wraps back around and they kill him easily. Then Faker finishes pushing the wave in and recalls. But let's create another scenario that would be more likely to happen in your own games and see if you can decide which would be the best place to roam. Let's say you're playing LeBlanc and pressuring mid just like Faker and have mid priority, but you can't actually get any solo kills because they are playing safe. Your jungler is Yi and he's just farming, not ganking at all. Your top laner is Riven, a very snowbally champion that can solo carry games, versus Yasuo, who snowballs as hard as Riven does. Yasuo is winning so far, sitting at 90% health, and Riven is at 30%. Riven is spam pinging for help, but Yi is just farming. Then on the bot side, you have Ezreal and Leona versus Lucian and Nami. All 4 of them have around 50% health with a wave in the middle. Knowing this, do you roam top, roam bot, or stay in mid and don't roam at all? A lot of lower elo players would choose to roam top here because it's a super snowbally matchup and Riven really needs help. This is actually wrong because if top has been losing, odds are they have vision and can back off to make you waste your time, or the jungler will be up there making a 2v2, which would be impossible to win with how low Riven is. Also, Yasuo might even be able to trade kills in the 2v1, so this is the worst option of the 3. The correct play is to look for a roam bot lane because the lane is going even. Lucian and Nami are both very squishy and easy to kill for LeBlanc, and Leona can set up the play with her strong engage and crowd control. But what if your bot wasn't going even and we're actually losing? Then it would be best to stay in mid and keep trying to pressure your lane for solo kills or tower plating. The reason behind all of these decisions is the same, as the matchups actually didn't matter much at all. You should always go to where you have the highest chance to get something out of it. You never roam because you want to snowball someone on your team, as 99% of players do not know how to do it properly, so even if you do end up getting Riven a kill, it's not that big of a deal, she'll probably just throw it. This also means you never want to roam just to help a lane that is pinging that they need it. You only do that when the enemy team is overextended and it looks like free kills for you. Basically, never expect your team to use their gold properly or carry you. You have to be the one to do it. So focus on plays that don't have a high chance of failing, which will end up throwing your lane. Anyways, we're finally going to move back to the gameplay now, as Faker is really about to blow the map open. He comes out of base, and since he took top wave, Nocturne is collecting the mid waves that Ryze shoved into tower. This means Faker has a roam timing because the next wave won't be in mid for a while and Ryze is recalling. How do we know this? It's simple. Just look where your wave is on the map. Faker's wave is just now passing the inhibitor tower, which means the enemy wave is in the exact same spot. So he starts heading towards bot lane to gank and catches Kha'Zix counter jungling Elise's wolves. He chases him for a while and his whole team ends up collapsing, bowling Alistar's flash, then Kha'Zix's flash, and still end up killing him. The main takeaway from this though is not being on autopilot like most low elo players and just heading back to mid after recalling. He paid attention to the wave, realized he had a window to roam, and used it to get him another kill. Anyways, now that Kha'Zix is dead, this lets Elise start counter jungling as Faker finally starts laning again. The wave is pushing to him and is frozen, putting Ryze in a dangerous spot as he can't recall without losing a lot of CS unless he fully pushes in the wave. Knowing this, and because Elise is right next to him, he holds the wave and pings her to gank, which sets up another kill. And right after that, Kha'Zix was looking to kill Faker since he was so low but was spotted on his control board, so Elise flashed over using her cocoon, setting Faker up for his third kill. Of course, this is Korean Challenger and you won't have this Elise in your games. What you need to understand and take away from this though is how small decisions can have huge outcomes in a game like League. Everything that happened in these last few minutes are because Faker's map movements with his mid priority. After getting those kills, Faker does what he's best at and snowballs incredibly hard carrying this game with ease. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. Good luck and thanks for watching.